Hello, I'm Leo and I'll be presenting my capstone reflection project. So, this class was for me mostly part of a review for things I've learned throughout my years in France. But even though I was familiar with lots of content, this class not only allowed me to learn some new things, but it also allowed me to refresh my memory about things I had forgotten about and to enjoy learning and acquiring new perspectives, which is something I love a lot. Also, this class gave me the chance to experience some new things thanks to the community experiences that we had to do. Also, the unique pedagogy you use in this class will be kept in the back of my mind in order for me to steal some of the tricks you used and implement them in my future classes, like the code of the neighbor that I put in my slide. In this capstone project, I will highlight the new takeaways, good experience, but I also go through some interesting elements I think will be very helpful for me throughout my teaching career and my life in general. The first thing that comes to my mind is, without any doubt, the importance of the why. I remember the video we watched of a coach talking about her why and how it made me wonder if my why was strong and original enough. After talking to you, I realized that no matter what my why is, even if it sounds more or less inspiring than anyone's else, there has to be one. It's very important for me to have a why. My why must be enough to inspire myself and motivate me to achieve what I want to achieve, and not other people. It's a sort of an intrinsic motivation if I look at it from a bigger perspective. So the reason why I want to be a PE teacher is mostly because of the joy it brings when I see my public having fun and executing things I've taught them. Also, the fact that I want to bring people together and make them feel included through physical activity makes my why even more clear and significant to me. Personally, without sports, I would have never been able to meet all the people I met throughout my life. It would have made my life much harder to find friends every time I moved to another country. I would have missed so many beautiful and joyful moments, and that's why I think opening this door to all the children that will go through my classes is a big part of my why. I have the power to have an impact in some people's lives, and I'll use this power to make my impact a positive one. So the first community experience was also very enlightening. I got to learn more about about this man, Monsieur Roy, how we call him back in France, and that inspired, like, learning more about this teacher that inspired me the most. His philosophy, values, and his why was incredibly interesting. It motivated me again and made me feel even more certain about my future plans as a PE teacher. For example, his goal that in the end of each class his students will leave physically tired, happy, and with more knowledge. That's something that I'll probably look also forward as a teacher. Also, some of his values, like our differences are our riches, or believing in one's power over one's own life, were very inspirational to me, and I have already appropriated them because, like I told you, he's one of my idols, and I want to have an impact on the students I meet, just like he had an impact on me. So I'll try and be a bit like he is. Anyway, I would have loved to bring him to class one time. I feel like everybody would love him, and that you personally could have a very interesting conversation with him because both of you have very distinctive ways of teaching compared to other teachers. Uh, One thing that we repeated so often that it got stuck in my mind are the 5 parts of the coaching process: assess, identify, plan, implement, and reflect. Those are, it was, in the beginning, it was kind of hard to me to memorize them because I remember have seen this in France, but obviously with other words in another language. But just as for us teachers, we have to go through the same steps, even though there's another evaluation by the end of each cycle, of the cycle, which means that we assess in the beginning and we'll assess also in the end of the semester. Something I will also do is assess throughout the whole semester so that even if students have a bad day during the last exam, they will not be only evaluated on what their performance, the last performance is, but on what their evolution was throughout the whole semester and on how they participated, etc., etc. The coaching process highlights also the importance of putting the athlete or the student in the middle of everything we do, because everything we do is done for the students or the athletes. Oh, I'm not done with this. Also, it was very interesting to me to see that young coaches, that youth coaches, are basically the educators, just like teachers for young class for classes do the roles they have and the responsibilities they have. That was in a way very helpful to me, and it kind of opened the door because I think that when I go back to Luxembourg, I'll be a teacher, and after like the first 3-4 years, I probably use my teacher knowledge and my soccer knowledge to be a youth coach. And I think realizing the fact that both, like being a coach and being a teacher and a youth coach is so similar, it's gonna help me out, and it makes me feel safer to jump into that profession. Uh, Another thing I thought was very interesting, and I'll surely take away from this course, is the fact that people understand the word success in very different ways. As for Pete Carroll, like you showed us, it's already a success when you have a chance to win every game. This is the same with students. Every student has different goals, which will eventually result in different interpretation of success. Some will be happy if they get a D, others if they get an A, others if they've actually learned something, etc. So defining success can be complex and very subjective. Also, in this same class, we learn, we learn the importance of the process. Um, that means like the process is more or maybe as important as the outcome, or probably sometimes depending, can be even more important than the outcome because it takes much longer. For example, all these years I've been studying is my process to be a teacher next year, and if I didn't make the most of these years, I don't think it would be worth being a teacher afterwards. Anyway, uh, like I was saying, people often don't know how long and how much sacrifice it leads. No, I jumped over something. Oh, yeah. Like I was saying, also in the same class, we learned the importance of the process, even though success is the only thing people will see. People often don't know how long and how much sacrifice athletes or students go through, and all the work they have to go through to achieve their dreams. As you said in the beginning of the semester, the struggle is non-negotiable, because without struggle, there's no learning. Complementarily to Dr. Differbar's class, this course helped me realize how privileged I am. Even though I often tell myself how bad my life is and how tough things are that I go through, etc., I see how lucky I am to do things that I've been doing lately. For example, just like being in this class and having access to education is a big privilege I have that I'm not even aware of. But also, I'm so privileged that I often don't really stop and appreciate how other people would give everything just to have a small piece of my life. You presented these privileges very well by trying to change our perspectives. We should be more grateful. We should see our duties, work, and everything we do as a, oh, I'm lucky I get to do this, instead of a, ugh, I have to do this. Because, like I said previously, many people are not lucky enough to learn what we do, to have a job, to have opportunities. And I think that's even more the case here in America than it is in Europe. Uh, this was my presentation, and I would like to thank you for this semester, and I'm really sorry to have missed a few classes in the end, but there were a few exams, and since I'm an exchange student, I went on a few vacations during class time, but I hope you will understand. I'll also do my best to keep on doing great things, like you always tell us to do, and to be a good person. I wish you good luck in your future, and maybe see you later. Have a good one.